Welcome to another episode of Dream Home Cooking. Today I'm making brunch and I've got a tomato pie recipe that is out of this world along with grit cakes. And then I'm going to show you guys how I make my homemade breakfast sausage patties that are delicious, and then I'm going to finish it off with a blueberry cinnamon roll. So I'm going to get started on the grits because there's a certain process we have to go through in order to make the grit cakes. So right now I have a mixture of milk and water. And to me, grits are delicious when you make them with whole milk, not just straight water. So this is 2 cups and 2/3 of liquid. I mixed half and half with water and whole milk. Then I'm gonna add to this, I've got it at a nice rolling boil, so now I'm gonna turn it down and I'm gonna add 2/3 cup of grits. And you wanna use the quick cooking grits. So I'm just gonna slowly pour these grits in here. If you've never had a grit cake, you're in for a treat if you make these because they are absolutely delicious. They're delicious with the type of food I'm serving today, brunch type food. They're also wonderful. Mike and I just started putting a grit cake under a nice piece of grilled fish or sauteed fish. It's out of this world. Brings grits to a whole new level. So after I get the grits stirred into the liquid, I'm gonna add 3 tablespoons of butter, and then 2 teaspoons of salt and 2 teaspoons of pepper. I just had it all together in this little bowl. And then it just takes about 5 minutes for these grits to just do a slow boil until they thicken. And I would suggest giving them a quick taste to adjust your salt and pepper level if you want to add more salt. All right, so I'm just gonna let these hang out here and finish cooking for a few minutes while I mix up the sausage patties. Okay, make sure that's on low. All right, so for the sausage patties, and this is something too, you guys, that once you make these, you'll never buy the pre-made sausage patties again. They have no additives. You know, I don't have any of the nitrates or anything in this, so they taste very fresh and delicious. So you want to start with 2 pounds of ground pork, and you can generally find that all the time at any grocery store. A couple times when I've gone to get it, they were out and I just asked the butcher and he, in 5 minutes, he had 2 pounds of ground pork for me. So you want to start with that, and I let it rest. I took it out of the fridge for about 30 minutes so it's not real cold. So what you're going to add, it's a lot of seasoning. We're going to start first with some pepper, and this is a tablespoon of coarse ground black pepper, a teaspoon of salt, then I have a teaspoon of marjoram seasoning, 2 teaspoons of fennel seeds, and 2 teaspoons of sage, about a ½ teaspoon of crushed red pepper, and that gives it a little heat, and then just a dash of ground cloves. These smell wonderful. Reminds me of Thanksgiving, but you just want to do maybe 3 little or 4 dashes. And then my favorite part, the best thing, is some brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. If you hear tapping on the floor, that's my 2 little dogs running around. All right, so then what you want to do is make sure you mix this very well. And I'm going to start mixing with the fork, and then I'm getting ready to take my rings off, and you just got to get your hands in this to form the little patties. Okay, so now I've got those seasonings mixed in there pretty well, but I'm going to also mix it with my hands too. And I like to take my rings off because I don't like it to get all stuck in there. Okay, so now you just wash your hands thoroughly and just squeeze all the seasonings in there. And now I'm ready to form them into patties. So, and if you want a nice size breakfast sausage patty, like the size of a hamburger, go for it. I kind of like them to be a little small, maybe like a $half size, like so. All right, so I'm gonna get these patted out, and then when we come back, I'm gonna show you guys the next step in the grit cake, and I'm gonna get these cooked up, the tomato pie going, and the blueberry cinnamon rolls.
There's something about carpet that gives a room a warm, soft feeling. Our carpet also gives you something else, peace of mind. All of our exclusive carpet brands are made in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. So feel free to live your life exactly the way you want. Get your soft carpet from the flooring experts at Wolde Flooring. Visit our new showroom in Madison, locally owned since 2002.
In choosing a contractor in today's market, finding someone that is going to take care of you and make sure that you're happy with their product, with the quality, it's not an easy task today. The most important thing to me is doing what you say you're going to do, taking care of the customer, installing a product that is superior. My motto is call the lady with a team you can trust, and I feel confident that we are a team that you can trust.
My father started this business in 1977. The people that work for us is part of what sets us apart. All of our employees have experience. All of our plumbers have been with us for 10 years or greater. Our motto at Dean & Son is quality and service. We're going to do quality work. We don't leave people hanging. We're there when we're supposed to be. We're done when we're supposed to be. Living up to what you sell and service them after they pay you, that's where your integrity in the plumbing business comes.
Dean & Son Plumbing Company. Call today at 518-9780.
Okay, we're back, and now I have the grits ready, so I'm going to show you guys what happens here at this step. So now you just want to take these cooked grits and you want to pour them in a small pan, and then they have to go in after they cool down a little bit. You want to wait about 30 minutes before you put them in the fridge, but we're just going to let them cool down, make sure that they are even. And then eventually, in about 30 minutes after that gets cooled down, I'm going to cover it with saran wrap and I'm going to put it in the fridge. And then it'll go in the fridge for a couple hours and gel. I already did some last night, so I'll pull my other pan out that's already nice and cold, and then I'll show you what I do from there in just a little bit. But I need to get this tomato pie in the oven. So it doesn't get much more southern than this tomato pie. But this recipe is simple, it's delicious, and it's good for dinner, brunch, anytime. So what you want to do is start with 3/4 cup of mayo and some salt and pepper, about a teaspoon of each. And I'm just going to stir that together. And then I have 2 tablespoons of green onions chopped and about 2 tablespoons of fresh basil that I chopped. And you just want to mix that together. Now, of course, I didn't make my own pie crust. I bought it, thanks to Mrs. Smith. So I took this frozen pie crust out of the freezer, let it sit for about 30 minutes. Then I popped it in the oven on 400 for just about 7 minutes, just to semi-bake it just a little bit to get it, give it a jump start. So now it's cooled, and I'm gonna add a little cheese to it. And this is an 8-ounce block of Monterey Jack cheese that I grated. And the reason I'm doing this is because I've seen some recipes for tomato pie where you put the tomatoes on the bottom. Well, then your crust ends up real soggy, and I don't like that. So I like to do the cheese on the bottom. And you just want to do about a 1/2 cup of the grated cheese. And then the rest of the cheese I'm going to add into this mixture. So we'll get this nice and stirred. Okay, so that is done. And now I'm gonna put the tomatoes, a layer of tomatoes. So what I did, I sliced 3 tomatoes, but I'm probably not gonna need that many. So I always say between 2 and 3 tomatoes, I slice them and then I slice them again. So it's a little easier to eat the tomato pie. So I salt and peppered each of them, and I just kind of let them sit on this rack so they could drain a little bit so they don't make the crust too soggy once again. So then you just want to shake them off a little bit, and we're just going to layer, or not layer, but we're going to place tomatoes all around until you've got the cheese completely covered. And you can overlap them a little bit too. So I think maybe we can fit one more on there. I just think that's so pretty just as it is. All right, so the last step is to take this mixture, and I'll give it one more little stir. And I'm going to use a spatula to completely cover the tops of the tomatoes, seal the edges, and then we're going to bake it. And I probably should have had a butter knife handy because I think that might have been a little easier to spread it. But just spread it evenly, sealing the edges where you don't see the tomato anymore. All right, so I'm gonna put this in the oven, get some of this stuff cleaned up a little bit. Then I'm gonna get the sausage patties cooking, and I'm gonna show you guys how I finish up the grit cakes. And then the best part for last, the blueberry cinnamon rolls.
Since 1983, individuals and businesses in Alabama have relied on Wolf Jones, Conchin, Wolf, Hancock, and Daniel for their legal representation. Our experienced attorneys offer high-quality legal counsel in commercial law, real estate, and personal injury litigation. So if you need an attorney, hire the best attorney you can. Call the experienced North Alabama attorneys of Wolf Jones, Conchin, Wolf, Hancock, and Daniel to arrange your initial consultation, because we're dedicated to setting the standard for legal services. At Quality Plus, our motto is don't call 3, call me, because where else can you find North Alabama's finest craftsmen who can handle all of your residential roofing, drywall, and painting needs. At Quality Plus, all work is 100% guaranteed, and no job is too big or too small, whether it's new construction or remodeling. So for your roofing, drywall, and painting needs, don't call 3, call me at Quality Plus Production, 256-990-7578.
I had the best dream last night. We were building a new house or remodeling, and I found the most gorgeous tile. Tumbled noche for the master bath, Venetian gold granite for the kitchen, and a beautiful custom backsplash. And while shopping, I ran into Jean-Luc.
So, you're heading to Jenkins Brick and Tile today?
Yeah.
I'll go with you.
Jenkins Brick and Tile, Madison Boulevard in Madison. We'll show you the tile of your dreams.
Okay, so the tomato pie is in the oven at 400 and it will bake for 25 to 30 minutes or until a knife, when inserted, comes out clean. Now I've got all these sausage patties patted out and I'm ready to get them in the skillet. And you're just gonna cook them like you would the sausage patties out of a package for, 5 or 6 minutes on each side or until they're nice and browned and cooked through. And this made about 13 patties, so you can get anywhere from 10 to 13 with these. So I'm gonna let these cook and get my hands washed, and I'll show you what's next with the cinnamon rolls. Okay, I got my hands washed after messing with the sausage, so now I'm ready to start these little cinnamon rolls. And these are not a traditional cinnamon roll, so to speak. It's just very simple. It's a sheet of puff pastry that you buy in the freezer section at the grocery store. Let it thaw for about 40 minutes, and then you just take a rolling pin. I put a lot of flour on it so it didn't stick, and just kind of roll it out a little bit more to get it a little bit thinner than when you take it out of the package. Okay, so I got that done, and I'm gonna flip it. And then the only thing you do with these, I've got blueberry pie filling. You can use apple, you can use cherry, whatever you like. But I've got a little melted butter here that I'm gonna just brush this dough with. Just get it nice and coated. That tomato pie smells really good. Okay, that's good enough. And then you want to be careful not to oversaturate this dough because it'll break and crack. So just, and you want to leave about a ½ inch on each side for rolling up. Actually, the best thing to do is just start in the middle and then just kind of start spreading and see where you are, and then add as you go. This is just something simple for, the weekends. It's not too hard, but it's a little better than something you buy in the frozen section or in a canned cinnamon rolls. So obviously you're not going to use the whole can. So you could really make 2 of these because it comes with 2 of these pastry doughs in each box. Okay, so now I'm ready to roll this up. And just be real gentle with it, and as you roll it, you can just do a little brush of butter. Okay, and then I'm gonna come like that. All right. Phew, I hold my breath when I do it because I don't want this to crack, so just be real careful not to overfill it. All right, then important too is you want to take a bread knife. I've got a cake pan here that I'm going to put these in, but a bread knife is best because it's not going to smush this down. You get a nice cut on it and just do about ½ inch cuts And you are gonna have some blueberry mixture ooze out, and that's okay. So I kind of like to take the knife and slide underneath it and then just kind of place it in the pan like that. And you'll get about 5 or 6 of these. So just that. And then I have a little powdered sugared icing that I'm gonna make that I drizzle over it after I bake these. These go in the oven at 400 for about 12 to 14 minutes. All right, so I am going to get these in the oven, flip the sausage, and then when we come back, I'm going to do the grit cakes.
So today I want to tell you about 4 new communities that we have coming online. You know, Madison, we've been building there for the past 19 to 20 years. We've got a beautiful piece of property that we found. It's going to be about a 45 to 50 home site community. We're going to be starting in the 300 to 375 range. We feel like that we're going to be able to bring something to the city of Madison in the James Clemens School District that is going to be at a price point that's going to be affordable and also have great home sites. And so that particular piece of property we're taking priority position reservations on right now. The next piece of property I want to share with you is a community that we're going to call the Preserve at Inspiration. You know, we've talked about Green Mountain and Inspiration and how much success we've had there. Well, what we want to be able to do is we want to be able to bring a product there in the $300,000 price range. And so I've identified a piece of property that's just to the south of Madison County Nature Trail. And if you've never been to Madison County Nature Trail, it's a beautiful park. You're surrounded by nature, you're surrounded by wildlife. So what better area in order to be able to develop a community than being right next door to it? So these homeowners who are going to be looking at the Preserve, we're going to start in the 300 to 375 price range in there as well. But it's going to be a fantastic community that we're really excited about. The Preserve at Inspiration, we're starting to take reservations, so if you're interested in that price point or that location, be sure to give us a call about that one. The next one is Nature's Cove. Nature's Cove is probably the closest community in the Big Cove area, which is the McMullen Cove and the Hampton Cove area, that is going to be closest to downtown Huntsville. So you come up over the mountain, and then on the left-hand side, you've got the Hampton Inn. Right behind the Hampton Inn on Caldwell is a community that's called Nature's Cove. Beautiful cove. You've got mountains that surround it. It's absolutely gorgeous, and we're going to be starting in the $300,000 price point in that community as well. And then the last community is McMullen Cove. McMullen Cove's got it all. It's got nature trails, it's got big huge swimming pools, it's going to have a fabulous clubhouse, and McMullen Cove is a community that we're extremely excited about. We have our model home under construction right now. All you have to do is go into the primary entrance, go to the roundabout, and we're located right there on the roundabout. But McMullen Cove is going to feature several different price points. They have 60-foot wide home sites, they have 80-foot wide home sites, 120-foot wide home sites, ranging anywhere from the mid-250s all the way up to really as high as you want to go. So for more information on all of these communities, we encourage you to pick up the telephone, give us a call, 830-9000 to get information. But for the best thing to do, you could even send me an email, MikeFriday@woodlandhomes.com, and I'll be happy to respond to you and get you some information. So we look forward to seeing you in any one of our number of communities. So y'all come and see us.
Okay, so the cinnamon rolls are in the oven, and now while they're in the oven, I'm going to show y'all real quick how I make this powdered sugared icing. It's really easy. It's 1 cup of powdered sugar, and then 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and then 1 tablespoon of milk. And I like to use whole milk. And there's a little extra in there in case sometimes you may need a tablespoon and a half, but generally 1 cup to 1 tablespoon is perfect with the little vanilla in it. And you just keep mixing it with a fork or a whisk until it's real smooth, just silky smooth. All right, so you just keep mixing it until you got a thick but silky consistency. All right, and I'm just gonna put this to the side, and once I take the cinnamon rolls out of the oven, I just take a spoon and just drizzle it over the top of the cinnamon rolls. So I'll set this aside for now. Here are the grits that I made last night, and they need to be good and cold and gelled. That's basically what they do when you put them in a pan and put them in the fridge. So I'm going to cut with a bread knife. I'm just gonna cut little pieces. And you can do strips, you can do squares, you can even do take a biscuit cutter and do round grit cakes, which I think are pretty. So I've got my little squares. The first one is always gonna be the hardest to get out. Just go around the edges with a little spatula. Make sure they're unattached from the edges before you try to dig it out. All right, so here's the first one, and that one is popping out pretty good. So see, you've got this nice little firm grit cake. So I'm gonna come back over here, and I have some vegetable oil that I've heated just enough to cover the bottom. We're not deep frying them. We're just gonna give a little crunch to them. So I've got an egg and milk mixture, egg and milk wash. It's 2 eggs and a half a cup of milk. And then I have a half a cup of panko breadcrumbs and a half a cup of flour in this other little dish. And basically you're just gonna cover them real good on all sides. And then we're just gonna pop them carefully into the oil. And you just cook them on medium high, just a few minutes on each side or until they're browned. So I'm gonna finish frying these up, and then Mike will be here to taste all this delicious food and tell you about all the wonderful things Woodland Homes has going on.
When we came to looking for a cabinet company and a manufacturer to use, and with Wellborn being the selection, Wellborn has a good foundation within the company and the folks that run their company. And when you have a good foundation, things typically follow suit with that, and things will stay steady. Their values, I feel like, are on a solid foundation. I feel like their true intent is to build a product that will be a lasting product, and you're going to love what you see.
Wellborn Cabinets, the essence of cabinetry, at Woodland Homes of Huntsville.
Want to create something extraordinary? Create perfection. Our lifestyle appliances make it easy. GE Monogram, Bob Wallace Appliance, and you, when only the best will do.
Okay, we're back, and we've got Mike in the kitchen, and I made a brunch today.
And
I haven't done that in a long time.
And it's brunch time, so it's 10:30, so perfect timing.
Yep, you know what that is?
Well, if I had to guess, I would think that is like a tomato pie like we had the other day at that restaurant.
Yep, it is. It's tomato pie with some grit cakes. And
love the grit cakes. A lot you can do with a grit cake.
Yes, you can. Yep. Great with a piece of grilled fish on it. But these are my homemade sausage breakfast patties. You don't get as much preservatives and all that bad stuff that's, you know, in sausages. So.
I was outside and they smelled fantastic.
Good. I'm glad. I had the vent on, and
the whole neighborhood was smelling them. So yeah, they were great.
So all right, and some blueberry cinnamon rolls.
Well,
so
good.
Man, we have a lot happening at Woodland Homes, don't we?
I've been busy.
You have been
well,
busy. We've all been busy.
Well, I've been busy because the market has picked up so much, and you know, we're running out of lots. So you know, as a builder, we always need new communities in front of us, and so we need home sites. Yeah, we sure do. And so, you know, for the past, I guess, 9 to 12 months, we've really kind of been searching the market and just kind of figuring out strategically kind of where we, you know, where we want to be and where we want to build. And we have just come across some fantastic acquisitions. And so, for example, like in Madison, you know, Madison has always been a great community for us. I mean, we have built a neighborhood after neighborhood and neighborhood in city limits of Madison. And so there was this piece of property I found, and really it's like a diamond. I mean, it was there, beautiful wooded piece of property.
It is,
and you know,
I walked it with you.
Yeah, and so it's, I think we're going to call it Kimball Farms. A gentleman by the name of Mr. and Miss Kimball owned the piece of property, and just a great piece of property. It's nice,
Very
it's
pretty.
wooded, it's rolling, and we're going to be able to start in the low $300,000 price range. So we're going to probably go from like $3 to $375, and then that way Foxfield, also in Madison, that'll pick up around $4, and that'll go on up to, you know, $4 to $6. So we're excited about that community. We're getting involved in McMullen Cove.
Yeah, that's exciting.
It is.
We've had a lot of excitement about that.
Yeah, there
that
is.
we're
There's
moving out that way.
And people are glad to see us because, you know, we've kind of focused in Madison and Monrovia for, you know, for several, you know, well, for 20 years.
20 years. Our whole life
we,
in the 5-mile radius, I'd say.
But, you know, we moved up to the mountain and we had great success up there. And then when we moved up there, we had people saying, well, do you build in the Big Cove area? And we're like, no. And it's like we started looking and researching. And McMullen Cove is a great community because it is just got full of amenities. I mean, pool, walking trails, tennis courts, tot lot. I mean, it's just a great community. So we've got that community. Also on that side, in the Big Cove area, we've got Nature's Cove, which is we're getting ready to start construction on our model home in that community. And Nature's Cove, we're going to start in the low $300,000 price range as well. And,
there's been so much focus on the other things, I almost forgot about Nature's Cove.
Well, now you know why I've been so busy. I mean, and then we've got our last community that we're working on is a community that we're going to call the Preserve at Inspiration. And I think that this community is going to be absolutely fantastic. It is just south of the Madison County Nature Trail, and so you can purchase a home in this community. We're going to be in the $300,000 price range, and literally you walk out your door, walk through a pedestrian access, and your whole amenity package is the Nature Trail. So I think it's a 2-mile run around the lake, and so I mean, what an amenity to be able to have right next door to it. So all of these, some of these are coming online later this year, and some of them are going to be coming online next year. So we're just super excited.
We are, and we've got a 20th anniversary coming up with our company in February next year. So that's exciting too.
So there's a lot of great things going on in Huntsville, and we'll share more of that with you when we get into the time to share about the different communities. But you know, for more information on Melissa's recipes, you can
log on to woodlandhomes.com.
Yep, or any of our communities. You can also log on to our website. We've got a lot of information on our website, and or you can just simply give us a call at 830-9000. But better yet, we're open 7 days a week. Just stop by any one of our 13 communities, and you can ask for information, and we'll be glad to see how we can get you into your new Woodland home.
Yep, and don't forget to friend us on Facebook, Dream Home Cooking, and also Woodland Homes has a page. And as always, a huge shout out to our sponsors.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely. So
all right, let's eat.
Yeah, let's dig in.